So here we are with Pablo, Arencibia, and Dave Rudolph from ARConnection. Welcome, guys, to the La Biblioteca Sessions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
You guys sound great. And you come from the Tampa Bay area, right?
Right.
Which is a lot of things, maybe not the crowd of jazz, right?
It's just a little southern from the
Yeah.
jazz.
So you guys are two jazz players, jazz teachers, and you guys are doing something in your community. You guys are playing all around and doing stuff. How does that feed the ARConnection?
Well, we have been playing together for a few years now. We started playing together for Dave's project and his previous album called Resonance. And we play with a lot of the same musicians in the area. We are both teaching in some of the same universities, so that it was pretty natural for us to get together and play. And based on how much fun we have playing together, we decided to put together this project, ARConnection.
How would you say it's the relationship between you being a drummer and him being a piano player, and ARConnection? What is that connection all about?
Okay. Well, I mean, first of all, Pablo specifically has always demonstrated just great musical sensitivity. So as a drummer, if I hear someone who's really listening and looking to kind of get to your second part of your question, connecting, it's very obvious. We have this great relationship musically where we can communicate. But the main thing for connecting is like we feel like we connect very well musically, but we also connect with our audience. We've had great feedback from our audience saying that they really can sense the joy that we have when we're playing together. So they can feel it too.
So you would say that the ARConnection is something that happens between you two, but you give it to the audience.
We would say there are three levels, actually. So it happens between both of us, and we have guest musicians playing with us, like Mauricio, who is playing with us today, and other musicians. So that's like another level. And then the audience also is part of this game. So that's why we call it ARConnection. It's like we're connecting with everybody. So A stands for my last name, Arencibia, and R is for Rudolph. So it's like our connection shared with everybody else, if that makes sense.
That is great. And then now more down to the musical proposal. I heard this song that was like a mix of Little Sunflower with Satin Doll and stuff going on. What's going on? You guys are taking the classics and mixing up, and talk to me about that.
That's
Exactly.
a bass.
Yeah, so the idea is we want to make music that people are already familiar with and put a spin on it. We want it to be unique. We want it to be exciting and fresh and innovative, but enticing for them to listen to. So the song that you're talking about is Satin Doll, sort of mashed up with Maiden Voyage, the Herbie
Maiden
Hancock
Voyage,
classic. So I just had the idea in my head, those sus chords, I really liked the way they sounded, so I started singing Satin Doll over it, and I was like, this just works so well together. So it was a very natural kind of thing to put together.
And then you guys have other proposals that are less roots inspired and more maybe provocative.
You're talking about Now What?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a composition of mine, and I sometimes I don't call myself a composer because I don't compose a lot of songs, but I usually connect with some emotional content that I want to put together in a song. So that's where the title comes from, and I think also some of the harmonies that you're hearing and some of that angle, or especially for the A sections, and then the bridge is a little more like maybe evocative, I guess. So that's kind of a blend of emotions, I guess.
That is great. So when people go to see ARConnection, they will see you both. And what else do they see? How are the combos? How do they evolve? How big it gets? How small it is?
Okay, I don't think we've ever played as a duo, but that might be something we do in the future. Typically, we play with at least a bass player, and then there have been opportunities for us to, invite a guitar player or a trumpet player, or a sax player, and it's always different. It's always exciting, So even if we're playing, say the same charts, it brings a whole new dimension into what we're trying to say, and it's always different. That's a lot of fun for us too, and I think the audience gets that.
That is great. Pablo, there's a mention on your bio saying that you did actually some kind of adjustment on the mechanics of piano performance. Like you added some of it. Would you Talk to us about that.
Yeah,
How does that impact the music? What is it that about? It's not something that people that don't know music can be aware just by hearing you.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, that was my research project as part of my graduate degree. And what I was interested in is to see how we piano players get so frustrated with digital instruments in general. So it's like when we're trying to work with a digital instrument that is trying to mimic the piano, not just the digital instrument itself, but when we're trying to mimic the piano, then we tend to get frustrated because they don't really get close to the real sound of the piano. And I was trying to, do some research about why is that? What is exactly missing in the digital pianos compared to the real ones? We don't always get the opportunity to play one of these instruments like this one. And just to give you an idea of what I was looking into, one of the things that are very interesting is the unpredictability of the sound that you get from a piano. It's like a piano will always give you something unexpected. And as an artist, you react to that sound and you try to make it musical. Like with a digital instrument, usually you just get the same sound that you expect. So there's not that excitement, that interaction and connection. So I haven't done anything myself. It was just a research project to try to define why. It's like people say, oh, it doesn't sound the same. What does that really mean? So it's about the technical details that make that difference.
And how, as a drummer, as a fellow drummer, because I'm a drummer too, how do you feel about this declaration of the piano always sounds different when you play it? Who would have known, right? Because a drum, it sounds different.
Yeah,
I mean,
very true.
we're striving to make it sound the same every time, but it sounds different.
Very true.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, like I've never really thought about the digital side of things and how that would work out in terms of like mathematics. Like I'm not really an engineering kind of person, but I can tell you that if I hear Pablo sit at this piano and play a C major scale, and I sit at this piano, it's not going to sound the same, even though it's the same instrument. It's definitely there's a very personal thing that happens when a musician sits at a piano, and I think some of that is just lost on the digital, ones and zeros of how a MIDI instrument might make sound.
Well, and let's hope that ARConnection brings that awareness to the audience, right?
That sounds good.
Well, it's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adolfo. Yeah.
Appreciate it.